Ashford Social Media presents Engineered for Success, a sit-down interview with Noreen Walker, President and CEO of Norinewalker And Associates.
Hi, I'm Noreen Walker. I'm the president and founder of Norinewalker And Associates. I'm a civil engineer. I graduated from the University of Maryland in College Park in 1983. Since then, I've been very successful in my career as a civil engineer, focusing on transportation.
What is transportation engineering?
The specific field of transportation engineering involves all different modes of transportation. Modes include air, water, so port engineering, rail, transit, that's bus or rail transit, like a metro, and also the non-automated transportation, such as bicyclists and pedestrian ways. I selected transportation engineering because I really liked to find out and to help people move around. And now some of the modes of transportation become blended when there are metro stations that have access to light rail systems or bus transit. And it becomes more and more interesting. In fact, the logistics involved are another specialty area.
How do all these different modes of transportation blend?
Let's say, for instance, that I fly into National Airport and I want to get home. I don't have my car parked because it costs a lot of money to park at National Airport. So I'll take the metro, the Washington Metro, to a nearby metro station in my neighborhood. And from there, I'll either have a friend pick me up, or I'll walk home with my luggage, or I'll call a taxi. Sometimes there's a circulator bus system, so that blends the transit, the bus transit, and the rail transit with the airport.
What made you think you would enjoy engineering?
I liked the math and science when I was in school, but I didn't think I could be an accountant or someone that sat behind a black box. I like getting out in the world and seeing the fruits of my labor. I've had many successful projects in my career that include highway projects and bridge projects, roadways that have successfully been built in communities, and worked with the communities to get it to fit into the community the way that it should.
Have you taught at any point in your career?
I've had the chance to teach at the University of Maryland, at Prince George's Community College in Maryland, and at Northern Virginia Community College in Northern Virginia. I enjoy teaching adult learners because they're there for a purpose. And one of the purposes is so that they can expand their knowledge to possibly change their career.
What changes have you made during your career?
One of the changes that I've made in my career is gone from working in the private sector for public clients to working in the private sector on my own for public clients. I like to work with state agencies, departments of transportation, and the like, and I'm looking to expand into federal agency contracting. So I'm doing a lot of networking right now to meet the right people to put me in contact with professionals that I can bid work on.
Were there many women in engineering when you were in college?
Today, there are a lot more women in the field of engineering than there were when I was in college. In fact, I started in the field in a summer program for girls interested in engineering in their junior to senior year summer.
What is the largest project you have been involved with to date?
The largest project that I've been involved with was the Woodrow Wilson Bridge project. It was a $2.5 billion, that's billion with a B, $2.5 billion project in Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland. This involved a lot of coordination between the three entities, as well as other organizations such as departments of transportation for the counties, the city of Alexandria, and other environmental works.
Who is your mentor?
I'd have to say that one of my mentors was a former boss that I had. When I started in the field, I really wasn't sure what aspect of transportation I wanted to go into. So I have to credit my first boss, David Wallace. He works for a firm called Rummel, Klepper & Call and is a partner in that firm in Baltimore.
What advice do you have for young people considering engineering as a profession?
I've had the opportunity to work with young people that are trying to decide what field they want to go into. And I encourage them to study hard, but to look for all the opportunities, because what might be attractive to you in high school may not even be available when you get out of your college career.
Any advice for college-age students?
The opportunities in college today are really fascinating, and many colleges and universities encourage students to travel abroad and to study abroad for a semester. And I would encourage people in the engineering field to do so as well. Oftentimes, the engineering program is longer than the program in another field, such as biology or architecture. And some of the students become discouraged because of that. But I would say work as hard as you can, but have fun too, because that's part of having a career and having a balanced life.
How has the engineering program changed since you've been in school?
Now there's a Women in Engineering program offered at the University of Maryland and also other colleges and universities across the country, encouraging and providing tools to help them to stay positive about being in engineering. These include living and learning programs and centers for engineering that takes the girls and has them explore different aspects that weren't previously available, such as when I was in school.
How was it being a female in a predominantly male field while you were in college?
One of the things about being a female in a male-dominated field was that in my classes, I was oftentimes the only girl. And I was very shy, I was very reserved, and very self-conscious about being the only one in the class. So some of the guys thought that I was a snob. They thought that I was too good for them. But really, I was afraid. I wasn't a great student. So that also led to my being a little bit reserved. But since I got into the field and got into the working world, I realized that as long as you are competent, technically competent, and have a professional manner, that you can be successful.
What is your secret to success?
Well, my secret to success has been persistence. To continue to strive to be the best that I possibly can in whatever I could do. Now, being the best I possibly can didn't mean I was a straight A student, but I was not discouraged. And I sought help and assistance in my program. Being an adult in the field, I was very well supported by my mentor, David Wallace, at RK&K. And I owe him a debt of gratitude because he was always encouraging and always put me forward. He was tough, but he was also very encouraging to me and to other women that followed me at that firm.
How do women differ from men in engineering?
One of the things about being a female in the field of engineering is that we look at things a little bit different. So, for instance, I can see the forest for the trees. I'm a very detailed person, very well organized, but I also can see the impacts of the larger picture. And this is proven true on large as well as small projects, where I'd come up with an idea and someone would say, "Oh, I hadn't thought about that." So I think it's benefited the projects that I've worked with and the people that I've been working with.
Okay, speaking of...
What is your opinion on the various professional organizations that are available?
I really encourage the people that I work with to belong to professional organizations. I have benefited tremendously by being involved with the American Society of Civil Engineers as well as the Institute of Transportation Engineers. The regular meetings that they have are not necessary to attend. However, they do provide educational opportunities, and I like to continue to learn. It also provides a network of people in case you're looking for an answer to a question that is not right at the tip of your tongue.
Can you give us an example?
As an example, I recently attended a training for people that are interested in helping with disaster relief. This was sponsored by the American Society of Civil Engineers and offers another pool of talented individuals to emergency systems when there is a disaster. For example, in the matter of Hurricane Katrina, they had lots and lots of police and emergency officials, but what about the people that needed to be there to rebuild? They needed to have people on site to help with the rebuilding effort, and that's where civil engineers can help.
How can a young engineer separate him or herself from the rest?
One of the ways to add another dimension to your career is to be in a leadership position in an organization. So as an example, in the Institute of Transportation Engineers, I moved up on the board being the secretary, then the vice president, and then the president. And I learned about a lot of other different fields through being that leader. In addition, I was part of the establishment of the Women in Engineering program at the University of Maryland that is now culled into a living and learning center for young women that want to be in engineering and want to be successful in staying in the engineering field.
Are you the first engineer in your family?
I feel as if, in a way, I was carrying on a family tradition by becoming an engineer. My dad, you see, was in the U.S. Army, and he was assigned to the Corps of Engineers. I didn't learn until much later in his life that he was involved with building airfields in places such as Guam, England, Peru, Greenland. And over the years, what I didn't realize was that he supervised a huge team of engineers in different parts of the world that were helping the efforts in World War II and Korea. So he and I had a bond that was a little bit different than the one that he had with my two brothers who didn't pursue a field in engineering.
How can students get real-world engineering experience while pursuing their degree?
One of the ways to get experience in the field is to be part of a cooperative education program. That's where you alternate work with school semester by semester. And I was able to do that successfully and worked for the Federal Highway Administration as well as the Maryland Department of Transportation in their planning office in Washington, D.C. Another way to get experience before you're out of school is to spend time in your breaks and on your summer vacations working in your field. For me, it gave me an extra 1.5 years of experience that other graduates didn't have when they got out of school. This helped me specifically on my very first job that I had, where I came in having a work ethic already applied with the technical capabilities that I had. And I think that helped me get my very first job.
What are your future plans?
One of the plans for the future that I have are to become a mentor to either young engineers or to younger companies that are coming online. I think that there's a lot of advice that can be given from the lessons that I've learned in my career, as well as the people that I've interacted with over the years. So I look forward to mentoring young engineers and new businesses.
What does Norinewalker and Associates offer to a potential client?
In addition to the years of experience and the challenges and opportunities that I've had in the civil engineering field, I think that I have a lot of qualities that will help with customers to get their job done and to get it done as efficiently and cheaply as possible. As a small business, I don't have a lot of overhead. I have a home office and have car will travel. So I'm easy to get in touch with, and I'm also easy to get into your office. I'm well organized, I have a very logical thought process, but I'm also creative. And so when you come upon a problem that you're not quite sure how to solve, I'd suggest giving me a call, having me come in, and we can brainstorm together.
What is the future of civil engineering in your opinion?
I think the future of engineering is going to be focused primarily on large infrastructure projects. These are the kinds of things that make our living comfortable. Roadways that are in better condition, bridges that are not falling down, and water and sewer systems that allow us to flush our toilets and to drink clean water. While these don't sound sexy or fun necessarily, they are functional, and they are what we're going to need to maintain our lifestyles in the next 20, 30, 50 years.
Noreen showed us just a few of her many awards and achievements.
One of the aspects of the Woodrow Wilson Bridge project was a design competition where we had 7 entries for what the bridge was going to look like. During the competition, we established 4 different groups to review the 7 different designs. It came out that this was the winning entry for the bridge design competition. The Council on Minority Transportation Officials recognized me as a Women of Power, giving me the Trailblazer Award. This award recognized that I was in a field that not very many women were a part of. After being involved with the planning, design, and construction of the Woodrow Wilson Bridge over 11 years, I came away from the project knowing that I had committed to the community like this granite, as strong and hard as I could. You may not think that the classes that you take in high school or college are very important, but when I was a junior in high school, I was very shy and very reserved, and I was able to secure the most improved class member for our speech class. Now I don't mind getting up in front of hundreds of people to do speeches, even extemporaneously, which is a lot of fun. I'm proud to be a graduate of the University of Maryland College of Engineering, now known as the A. James Clark School of Engineering. I'm also a member of the Alumni Association and served on the Engineering Chapter's Board of Directors as president. In addition to the degree in civil engineering, I have a degree in urban studies from the Division of Behavioral and Social Sciences. This area involves the architecture, psychology, sociology, and social studies involved with social sciences. This picture reminded a friend of mine of me when she was traveling in Europe. She said, "Noreen, for all those hard hat tours that you give, this is a perfect replica." Thanks for visiting Norinewalker and Associates. I hope you've learned a little bit about what I am all about and what my firm is all about. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Ashford Social Media would like to thank Noreen Walker for sharing her story with us. This has been an Ashford Social Media production.